Hello, it's Tamara Hunter, and today is day number 240 of 365 Days of Awesome. Celebrate success through service. And I have some of my teammates here, and it looks like we've got a full house that's joined us to watch. Excitement. All right, so I am going to be introducing two of my 9 teammates from Team Todd from the Next Impactor. And yeah, and we're so excited because you know what his last name is? Should we say it all together? 1, 2, 3.
Special.
That's real special. Isn't and so guys, you know what? We are super stoked in the fact that we have been collaborating, and I brought a couple of my friends to talk about my teammates, to talk about the group challenge. So before we get into it, dive into it too much, why don't you introduce yourselves? Alicia is already service hero, and Lauren definitely deserves to be, but we're not doing that today officially. Okay, so why don't we start with Alicia, and then because we'll reintroduce you if you want to take a moment, and then we'll introduce to everybody Lauren.
My name's Alicia Birong, and I'm the creator of a program called Chatter Girls, a self-empowerment program, a for-profit program. And I also am a life coach, hypnotherapist, and therapist. And my mission in life is to be able to change the chatter.
I love it. Love it. Okay, and Lauren.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. This is fun. So I'm Lauren Stegenga. I founded Empowering the Village, and it's really about finding a really holistic approach to wellness, and so that we don't pass down those stresses down to our little ones. We can change that.
I love it. Both of your missions are so incredible. And I just want to, hats off to both of you because, in truth, you both are working with the next generation, and you're actually in the backyard of our chosen charity. And so I am more than humbled and honored to be able to say, okay, let's talk about, I'm going to bring it up to the line. There we go, the Fusion Project. Alicia, why don't you tell us a little bit about it, and then I'm gonna let you guys actually kind of kibitz back and forth and tell everybody about the Fusion Project and why it is that it's so incredibly innovative, exciting, and important.
Well, I met Michelle Jinks, the creator of the Fusion Project, about a couple of years ago. The Fusion Project is about 3.5 years old now. And I was just very excited because Michelle has been able to get into the middle school systems and be able to work with young girls on different issues from bullying, self-esteem, self-confidence, being able to really help them through the transitions. We all know that their self-esteem is developed between the ages of 8 to 14. And so Michelle is right there. And I know that she's doing this for an important reason. And one of the important reasons is that she wants to eliminate sex trafficking. And so by doing this program, she is keeping young girls from things that can destroy their lives. And I think that that's important in this day and time with the social media going on. It just makes a big difference to be able to have that one-on-one of mentors and young women helping these young girls through this transition time so that they know that they have other choices. Mm-hmm. And I think that this is what I believe the Fusion Project is able to give to the community of young girls that she's working in now, and maybe a larger community in the future.
That is a big piece of why I have, guys, you know that these two beautiful women are from the Chicagoland. I still love that Chicagoland area, and I'm from Southern California, and I am just as excited about this, maybe even more, because of the fact that I see this program coming to our neck of the woods. And yes, I butt up against nearly, just not very far, the Pacific Ocean. They're over on the other side. And you know what? This is relevant for all of us because this is the only program that is like this, and they are seeing success. Now, Lauren, you've been talking with Michelle, who is the executive director, and she's the creator and founder of the Fusion Project, right? And what has she been sharing with you?
There's been a lot of stories, and I'm a very heart-centered person, so it's, it touches me in a way, and I don't know if, even if you're not heart-centered, like, how can you not, like, just be affected by it? And a lot of the times when we were talking, it's that age group, the 12 to 14, that's really, really important. And correct me if I'm wrong, Alicia, I know you're better with the numbers.
Okay.
But it's where that self-esteem is at the lowest there. Mm-hmm. And so if those aren't being resolved and nourished and really show the girls how you can have the self-confidence, the self-esteem, the self-worth, that they're actually not going to look at it until they're in their 30s.
Yep.
And so that's the age group that I'm working with. I'm working with the moms, the grandmas, the people that are trying to take care of themselves. And so I feel like all of our missions are so intertwined. And so it's like, wow, when I was thinking about when I was that age, what was going on? And then in my 30s now, okay, now look what I'm looking at. And really, truly, that's when my mission came into life, was when I was in my 30s. And so not wanting to pass that down. So I see where it's like we can actually impact them right at that age, that sweet spot, so that they have a full life and not having to think about this stuff, later on. And so I see it all intertwining so beautifully. It's like this beautiful dance. And sometimes those topics are really heavy. Sometimes people kind of umbrella them into like, oh, that's not that big of a deal. Everyone's stressed. But when you really get into it and you gain the trust of these girls, one story, it's I don't know how old she was, but 6 months she wouldn't talk to Michelle, and Michelle, of course, tells the stories better, but just was in the back of the program, wouldn't talk, could care less. Just they were trying anything that you possibly think of how to engage this young lady, and it took about 6 months for her to actually open up and stuff. And so now, fast forward to current day, the most impactful thing, she's like, this program, they loved me until I realized I was lovable. I was like, wow, yeah, that's what this is about.
Right. Yeah. Right. And Alicia, I remember because we had a chance to go over your background, your education and everything. And you have worked as in so many kind of social programs and, as in counseling, if you will, with so many different ages and different groups. And what, in your professional opinion, is your opinion, or when someone doesn't have strong self-esteem, when someone doesn't feel that self-love, when someone is feeling like not the best environment at home because of, we all have our stuff, wink, wink, that we deal with, and some is at different degrees, and then they go to school, and then it's even worse for them, and so they have nowhere to really feel like they're accepted, and that they can even feel like, ooh, I'm starting to like myself. Everything's going different, but I'm kind of liking it. What happens if they don't get to go to a program like this, or any kind of mentoring or any kind of help? What happens?
Well, because what happens is that they end up like people like me who were in their 40s and said, I'm still carrying this stuff from when I was a kid, and Lauren dealing with the moms and stuff, a lot of them are still carrying it. As much as I've worked with women in different issues, I continue to hear the same thing from women and children, and especially girls, with the same issues of self-confidence and being able to try to figure out where they're going. One of the biggest challenges that I see right now is that's happening, and so thrilled that Michelle is doing this program, is that it's happening earlier and earlier. Kids, we used to, we know the development starts at 8, but now we're also seeing it in kindergarten and first grade. And I have a lot of people, I end up with kindergartners and first grade kids who just talk about how abused they have been. And, with what Lauren's doing with the moms and everything, that's going to give us an opportunity to shift. So I really believe that we have to have these kind of programs at the different levels. But self-confidence absolutely doesn't change. Imagine that girl who didn't do the Fusion Project goes off to college.
Mm-hmm.
She's in trouble because she has no self-confidence. She's going to go, she knows no one. Her parents aren't there to be with her like they've been in the past. And she didn't have a Fusion Project to be able to help her build that confidence and to be able to survive in freshman year of college. And so then she's a target. She ends up being a target for the trafficking. She needs to be a target for that freshman kid who doesn't make it the first semester. So different things like that are happening. But if we do these programs and we lay these foundations, we're going to shift that dynamic of what's happening when they get to college and when they get in their first job. Lauren works for herself, but there are many young women who get out of college and go to work the workplace and with no self-confidence, sitting in a room with all these men and other strong women, they're not going to make it. And so then they're going to end up in trouble. We want to change what needs to be changed in our society, and we have to start with the young.
And I'm glad you actually touched base on that, because I can actually speak up to that employment piece, because for those that don't know, for 18 years, I was a recruiter, a consultant. I had my own companies or worked management for a Fortune 100 company, and I placed people or I headhunted people out. So I worked with, that was my job, was to work with people to find the job, the best candidate. So I would interview and interview and interview. And then to help those people stay there, you need to have a self-confidence issue, or the self-confidence to go out there and to get that job. And I can say that there were times, because I also had a temp service, that we would end up having to put other temps in because they were like, I'm not sure that this person's going to make it. And it really did stem from that self-esteem. And it's not easy to gain that self-esteem when you're older. It's much easier to get it when you're younger and you can be having fun doing it. And then with the elements, think about this, guys. If you're sitting there and listening to this right now, think about this. I want you to really put your thinking caps on. When in your life did you feel that you were somewhat of a sponge still, and you could go any which way, and you decided to go this way? When was that time in your life? Really put your thinking caps on, and why don't you, anybody wants to put their answers in comment, I would love to see it. Amy, so glad you're enjoying this. I'm glad you're here. We have one of the co-hosts from the Friend Zone here in with us. Whoop, whoop. And lots of good stuff happening, Amy. Wink, wink. Okay, so let's get some pictures. Like, there's this really awesome picture. This program is an after-school program, correct?
It is. And one of the big things that we have to value, Michelle, in two situations. One is she was able to get into the schools. Not every school is going to take you. Two is they asked her to start this program, to put it in there. Because of who she is, they knew she could make a difference. And she has made a difference. But it's not easy getting into after school programs. I can validate that. So Michelle has made it through a lot of barriers to be able to get this program in there for those girls.
You know, I think you brought up a good point, and I know some of the people that would be watching this from my camp are thinking already, like I am. What is her background that makes her so unique that they say, you know, would you please? I understand you have this. You've been doing this research. Good for you. We're interested. Come and join us. What's the secret sauce? What's the gem that that she's carrying that makes it so appealing?
Lauren, what would you say it would be?
Her persistence and her curiosity of, I mean, she was in the social services. I don't know, like, her resume, but I mean, she's in, like, the social work element, and she kept seeing this commonality of this age and what's going on with these abuse. And that's where she came with, that's the age group that we need to start. So it's actually a prevention. And there's a lot of amazing organizations that help with the rescue and whatnot, if you're, talking about trafficking. But if you're looking at bullying, if you're looking at anxiety, if you're looking at the foundational pieces that are developed to be vulnerable to an abusive relationship,
right, it's
12 to 14. So she knows her stuff. I mean, she could rattle off all these different things. She knows all of her sources.
Yep.
And so that's the beauty of it. Takes a special person to be able to do this in and out of hearing the horrific stories. And like, this is my purpose, that if I don't show up to work, I'm letting down those girls. And so it's like, that's the persistence of, like, she knows. It's such a gift to have her in not just our community, but in, like, the worldly village that we live in, because I can see that this is not just right now, this one location, and, like, she's starting to expand. It's like the program being as big as anything, of it's just part of your school system is really the vision. And so we know that we can't do that alone. She knew she couldn't do that alone. And so it's like bringing people on board to see, like, what would you like to see truly in the school system, and even at the school system, just what would you like your daughters, that age group, to experience? And oh my goodness, guess what? We can actually be a part of that change. How brilliant is that?
Exactly. I agree with that, Lauren. I also know that she is a pastor's wife, and so she brings that other part of that from her heart. And when you hear these stories, you hear Michelle talk of them in every part of her body. Because they touch her from her heart. I had the opportunity to be with the group a couple of weeks ago, and you see her there. You see her connected with the girls. You see the girls loving each other and connecting with these girls. But when they walk out that door, they don't necessarily are a part of the same group, but they're getting what they need in that group, and that's the most important thing. It's a matter of giving them what they need, which is people who love them, their peers, their mentors, and the people who work with Michelle. They really are taking care of the future for them.
Now, Michelle's in this picture, right?
Yes.
She's which one?
Well, let's see. She has the pink shirt on in the middle.
Okay, the pink shirt.
And so she's she's to my left.
Right. Yeah, it's always kind of like that mirror image, thing going on with here.
Right.
Okay, so let me just kind of sum up what we were just at right now, and because again, I'm the new kid on the block. I'm still learning and just absolutely fascinated. Being Alicia, you and I spoke about this before, that the thing that one of the reasons I'm so excited about this, first of all, I've got kids, I've got grandkids, and our generations, each generation, it's getting harder and harder. We can turn that around, and that's why we are all heart-centered type people that are out there to make an impact on the world. And that's what I love about what Lauren Harris and Jeff Levine have decided to do with the Next Impactor, is to bring in a lot of people that want to do a lot of good. So we want to just like give them a lot of love and praise and say thank you. And so with what Michelle is doing, what I am hearing is that she's got a lot of the background that needs to be putting this program in place. And like Alicia and I were talking before, like if we were, like if we went in a time machine and she did too, and she put that program and we went to it, like that would have been, I needed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I needed it. I was not the most secure kid. I was awkward. Say ugly duckling 3 times fast. Yes. And, and it took some coaxing and things, and thank goodness I had a proactive mother, but not everybody does. Most people don't. And so I'm looking at this project, and I know you had told me when we were talking that this is going to, yes, it can immediately affect some major, huge issues, and we're going to go into that. It can do that, but also if we can start affecting the next generation to have a better feeling about themselves, it's going to show in their employment, it's going to show in the families, it's going to show in the community, it's going to show everywhere. Am I wrong?
No, I don't think you're wrong, but I think that there's a realization that I actually was talking to Michelle today, and one of the realizations is they just had their big fundraiser for the year, and I said, "How did you do?" And she says, "We've got enough to make it through the next couple of months." We need to be able to support this program so she has more than enough to just be able to manage the next couple of months. Because I look at my granddaughter and, and I look at her and I go, my job as a grandparent and as a person who works in this field is to make the world a better place for her, to not know that that's going to be in her face when she's 14 years old. I don't want that. And I know anyone who has children does not want that. So a little money put in can make all the difference in the world. And that's what we're doing as a group. This is why we chose our project. We all have an investment, but we have an investment in the future, but we also have an investment in the present.
Exactly. And I'm glad that you went there, because that's the transition of why, and what we can do. I want to just ask you, Lauren, when we were talking about the time machine and everything, because yes, I like that kind of stuff, If I ever had a hot tub in the backyard, you know what it would be called?
Time machine.
Hot tub time machine, absolutely. Oh yeah.
Oh, that movie's fun.
Yeah, the first one, the second one, no. And I saw it when I was bald. Oh my gosh. So anyway, with the sign saying "to the hot tub time machine," Anyway, so you were doing some investigative work, because we are really, as a team, really focused to make what Alicia just said. We are not going to stop. We're not going to stop, guys, and we're going to bring you with us. Maybe machine or not, I don't know. But
stop
until we have enough funds and we have this program where the legacy of what these 10 people that are on my team with our coach, Todd Speciale, that we are going to leave this nonprofit in such a solid and healthy way that we can start seeing this program, and she'll say, wow, I was at I didn't know how we get past 2 months, and now we're in every school in the nation. That is what we are bound and determined to start turning things around and make happen. Now, the things that they're affecting, Lauren, are pretty darn big. I mean,
you want to talk some numbers?
Yes, I would love it. Yes.
So I have a curious mind, right?
Yes, you do. I love that about you.
And so, I put my my back in the day when I was in the science industry, that it's like the numbers actually mattered for people. So these are for the people that need to hear these numbers. So we're talking about, and we're just talking about United States right now, but like this is like beyond this border.
Oh yeah.
But just the numbers for just to give a perspective of 3.2 million children deal with being bullied. That's a really big number for every year. And I will just do the disclaimer of these are probably low.
Right.
Just because of the way that tracking and just, actually recording that type of stuff, actually even like coming up to, and actually, what's the word I'm looking for?
But, being willing, right.
But actually like saying
reporting.
Reporting. Thank you.
Reporting. Many of them will hold it in.
Right.
They're afraid because they're at that like cowering, going into
because
the
they think they did something, right? So it's really, the perpetrators are really savvy and they know how to make it where it's like, that was your fault, not mine. It's a form of brainwashing. It's psychological abuse. And so they're really good at this stuff. So 3.2 million children in the US every single year are dealing with being bullied. 25. So there's 40 million Americans that are dealing with anxiety every year. Probably still a low number. 25% of those are little ones or kids that are under 18. 25%. And so like, that's not okay.
No.
So within the high school students, let me pull this up before. In the high school students, 1.5 million high school students are suffering some type of physical abuse from a partner. So if they are being, we'll just let that sink in for a little bit. It's kind of like, that's high school. So what was going on before that where they would be okay that that's something that's just part of life, where they're not reporting it, where like their self-esteem, confidence, and worth is actually having that, whether they know how to get out or not. There's all reasons of that. Mm-hmm. The heaviest one at my heart is that 300,000 children are sex trafficked every year. And I think there's a lot of myths about what that entails. And it's a lot about the grooming is really subtle, and these people are really, really patient. And it's not the, picking up homeless girls on the street or kidnapping with a van down the street. It's like peer-to-peer is what sits on my heart pretty heavy when I've been talking to Michelle. And so it's bringing the awareness of like, this is what we're dealing with, just to acknowledge it. And then we can actually start shifting and changing it. And that's what her program's offering us, a really tangible program that we can say, this is a solution, because these numbers are just, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But we're all in the business of solutions. So it's like coming together and like, this is what we can actually do. And we need the support of our communities to be able to get this to more children.
I actually pulled this from her site. When a child tells you that they don't feel comfortable around someone, pay attention, repost. Now, that seems like, for some people, they're going to be like, duh. But so many kids and adults even.
Can I share a story?
Yes, I would love to, because it hits. It hits home for a lot, I'm sure.
My kids are small. They're 3 and 6, right? So I mean, we're in the beginning stages of helping form. And this was the one thing when that hit me, was that when my child says that they don't want to give somebody a hug, even if it's a grandparent, it's okay. And so we're going to find a way where you can still greet your grandparent and show the respect, but that I'm not going to force you into making you give a hug to somebody because they're an elder. So it starts really, really young of what we're doing. And so when your child says they don't feel comfortable, it's just because it was a coach, a teacher, or a friend that, like a longtime friend, it's these kids know way more than we give them credit for. Way more. And so that's what my mission is with my two little ones. And I'm doing my best to help expand that awareness to other people of they know way more. And if you just start listening to them, like my son schools me every day. I was like, man, he's a great teacher. He's a talent.
They are, yes.
Right. And so it's like, if you can turn it a bit, and just because we might be older than them, they can teach us a whole lot. And what if we were actually listened to when we were younger the way that we would want? What if we can treat our kids the way that we wanted to be treated and empower them with that? And so like that for me, because my kids are so young, it's like it starts here for me. I thank you for letting me share, because it's just like that's the passion that I want to bring to this, is like we actually can do stuff, and it doesn't have to be this I don't know what to do. It's like start small. Just start small.
Yeah, Lauren, I love that, because I remember you saying that one time at another meeting, and I began to think about my granddaughter who does not want to kiss anyone on the lips. She will kiss you on the cheek and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, she knows what makes her comfortable and that doesn't. So why would I force that on her? So it is listen to them now, but keep on listening. Don't just decide they've become a teenager and you're going to shut the door, because I know many people who do that, and we can't do it. We can't do it.
No, yeah. And I think that that's a very good point. I actually want to explore that for a second, because I think that there might be some that are saying, yeah, but yeah, because, in truth, okay, I bring up some stories too. We all have our experiences. I had this 3 boys, 1 girl. My girl, when she was growing up to a certain point, she was like the kid that all the families wanted to take on vacation with, because she was just so good and she was so this and that. And so I used to say, okay, you're not going to be one of those yucky teenagers. Why? I would say those, you're going to be, cool and everything. She's like, oh yeah, Mom, no problems. Oh no, we had to take the door away. We had to change her driver's license until she was 18, and now though, she is the best mom. She's the best person, and so, where I'm going with this, and I'm sure there's a lot of parents saying this, and I really want to put it out there for both of you guys to comment if you want, because the thing here is teenage years and preteen, the junior high years and the high school years, inherently, even in the best of situations, have those yucky teenager things going on, right? And so how do you differentiate a yucky teenager thing going on and possibly someone that has warning signals and is exemplifying that possibly there might be some possible, red flags going and everything? And is there anything that we can maybe even share with our parents and grandparents that are saying, I'm not sure, and that's not in my backyard, and I want it to be, but what can I do now?
I can answer this in the way of, you have to understand that when that child goes from elementary to middle school or junior high, whichever you call it, that they are entering a new world in a new body. They're experiencing complete changes. And so their security is threatened. In so many schools, a lot of times their friends, they split. Their friends go here and here, or their friends aren't their friends anymore. So the transition in middle school is very, very difficult. And when you see them struggling, or they're saying they're being bullied, or you think that that's what's happening, and you start to see their grades dropping or all these anxieties coming on, and they don't have anything to work with it, and you're as a parent just going, oh, that's just a part of that transition. It's
Right.
not just a part of that. That is a cry for, I don't know what's happening here. I need help. Please listen. Because if you're not listening, guess who is listening?
Yeah.
Those predators. So
Right.
we have to understand that being able to know themselves during that transition, especially in middle school. I mean, I know my experience in middle school. I know my daughter's experience in middle school, and I know all the kids that I work with in middle school. And I would have to say, in many ways, it's hell on earth.
Yeah. Okay, you said it. I was thinking it. Okay,
I
yes.
mean, it really is. And so, but parents are going, what am I supposed to do with that? Well,
Right.
that
Right.
comes back to our responsibility as people who work. Lauren's already starting it so that that parent's going to listen to that kid when they get to middle school.
Yes.
But if we don't work with those parents now, those parents are going to be in just as much trouble because they're not going to have listened. The most important thing that I ever tell the parents that I work with in any program that I do is, if you don't put the phone down and you don't listen, you're going to miss that life. You're going to miss their journey. Do you want to miss their journey? No, you don't. But you've got to listen, because those are parts of their journey that they wouldn't share otherwise. But when they begin to share them, you have to be listening.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to bring this back up to the line. We have one of our I actually have one of my Chemo Buddies for Life ambassadors. That's thank you for showing up, Erin, and commenting as much as you have been. She lives in a smaller environment, a smaller area in Utah. She's a single mom, and she is really a community activist in that she wants to be able to start letting the kids. She works with the youth and knows a lot of them there, and wants them to be able to feel like they're not so isolated and alone in their community, and be able to broaden it out into other communities too, because they've been having a lot of issues with their teenagers. She's been sharing it with me, and so this is a topic I know that Erin, I know that's why you're commenting a lot. If we teach them from the beginning to know themselves, then as teenagers they will have so many more advantages. Now, let me just ask you this, because I know her situation and I know what's been going on. There is also an issue. Does this project that we're helping to fund and go out and fundraise? You guys get ready, because this hits home. Okay, this project, with the way that it's working, is it also designed and so that those that are at risk for suicide may also find that that's no longer a desire or an option for them?
Well, yeah, Lauren, go.
Yeah, there's been some stories, and I know we'll be able to share more as we get more information. But there has, where it's like the isolation, or everything's fine here, right? Some kids don't want to say anything, and so I think the key to that is being really present as much as you possibly can as a parent. And I think we've all been touched in some type of capacity with that. And so it is about bringing bringing those, anybody, but bringing kids together. And so what happens is, like, the bullying starts to decrease, and maybe people that weren't necessarily going to be friends are somehow friends in a way. And so they're looking out for one another. And so it's like the ripple effects in a positive way is actually occurring. And so in those dark moments, if suicide is considered, It's giving them another option to explore, another shoulder to lean on, another person to message. And so that they know that there actually are other choices, and then people really do care about them.
Which is, again, in with what I'm doing, community is just so important. And I actually am a show up kind of person, and I did have my little, if you will, there was a few of us odd ducks that, that kind of quack together into things, and we'd show quacking in, okay, we're gonna go do this, and we were joiners, because sometimes, if you will, I was labeled the ugly duckling geek. Okay, so total disclosure. And so you go in there, and like, I loved those type of programs because I connected with the teachers, and so then it was like, okay, self-esteem. And I have to say, and as we're talking, I'm actually thinking, okay, this teacher actually did a lot for me, and that mentor actually did a lot for me, and I didn't really kind of maybe put it together until even now. And I'm thinking, wow, okay, like we had talked before, Alicia, I am thinking I would have most likely been one of those kind of targets because, obviously I actually was wearing the stuff that kind of made me a bullseye, and the thought here is I lived in a generation, being the tail end of the baby boomers, wink wink, that we didn't have this stuff. No. But they have it, and it's there. I don't remember who now, because we've been doing so much talking about all the subjects, but someone was telling a story about a family moving like in, or a family, and they had gotten to know the kids had gotten to know each other, and the families had gotten to know each other, and then was asked if they could go over, and the kid never showed up, didn't come home.
That was one of Michelle's stories. Yeah.
Okay. That, I have to say, when I listened to that was like, oh, wow. Because I did, when my kids were at a certain age, I lived in a joke around a lot about it, but the reality was that it was like a Leave It to Beaver kind of environment. That's what we thought. And so we did. We trusted each other. We trusted the families. The kids ran as a pack, and we thought we were being safe that way. And when this took it to a whole new peer-to-peer thing for me, because then I'm thinking, okay, I'm an adult, and let's just say even my grandkids, and there was this kind of thing, and I wouldn't think anything of that. Let's put the kids don't have all the life experience that we have, and we have our little antennae up. Okay, danger, Will Robinson. They don't necessarily have that. They still are trusting, and to have these peers, these friends, they think, that are really not trying to be their friends. They're trying to be their captors.
Yeah, and so that's really about, one of my mentors had mentioned this years ago about don't tell your kids to be careful. Teach them how to be aware. Mm-hmm. And so if something doesn't feel right, I don't care if it's your best friend, get the hell out of there.
Exactly.
And like, it's really about that, of so they know that trust, that instinct. We're not going to squash it down because, like, oh, well, it's so and so. It's we trust you, and make up a reason. Use, my parents are such a drag, right? And so I have to do this. Use this for excuse to get out.
Right. So right now, here, let me see what Erin just said. Unfortunately, as parents, we are so unaware or unintentionally unloading on the traumas. Yes. And so we need to, and this is an area that's really up your well, right, Lauren, the parent?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Erin. I hope you're getting a lot of value out of this. And so we've chosen this nonprofit, and I'm glad you brought this up, Alicia, the status. I'm glad we're doing this and it all worked out, because things work out for perfect timing. And they just had their big, like you said, year fundraiser, and she was all like really focused in on it. And so as we picked her as our nonprofit, it was like, okay, I'll start getting everything, and we're getting all our ducks in a row. Yes. You know, we're serious here. It's serious.
We have a mascot.
Yeah, well, because we got to keep this at a point where we don't burn out, guys. Mm-hmm. We're not going to burn out, and I don't want any of you to. My team, our fundraising team that we're putting together, you guys, we are going to really start rocking this thing, because the thought here, and we can't get burned out with the subject matter. So we got to keep it, it's like with Chemo Buddies, we are humor, hope, and heart. Have you had your daily dose of laughter today? Because you know what, you got to refuel those jets to get out there to make a difference. So, all right. So as we are preparing, they had their big fundraiser, and like you said, the outcome, which, that's good, because it's not easy to do a local fundraiser that is going to really fully fund your whole year for a project that's this amazing and is growing. So this is where I'm actually going to be putting this out to my team right now. Any grant writers, come and tell me that maybe we can, at least, maybe it wouldn't be maybe completed by the time we're done. That doesn't matter. This needs to happen. So if there's any grant writers that want to throw in, this is going to be a donation of your upfront costs, and we'll work anything out that would be appropriate. We'll have that be between you and Michelle. But grant writers, let's really start looking at this, because this needs to go national, if not international. Corporate sponsors, anybody that could see that this is in alignment with what you guys are doing, let's talk. Let's make that happen. Let's start really looking at this, the big picture, because to have such a program that can help kids that are to be aware and not allowing themselves to be bullied, and those people that are adults now. And if you think back, man, I wish there would have been a program, because I was bullied for so many years, and it took so much therapy for me to get through it. How many of you are sitting there saying, oh, that is me? We need to get behind this. And again, for those that are really into the Chemo Buddies for Life mission, thank you. Whoop, whoop, number one. Okay, so we get a double bang for the buck, if you will, for doing this for the competition. Let's just be, because I know you guys are really in ownership with this, but this is what being an impactor is all about. Being an impactor is you take something and you make it better, and you get your teams to do it. And I'm so proud of our teams. So let's just keep going forward, and of the teams. And thank you for the amazing value comment. I just love you, Erin. Thank you for being you. Thank you. She's on a couple of my teams. And
cool.
Thank you for your service, and thank you for just hanging in there and getting in there. So our goal is pretty big. Okay, Alicia, what would you like to share?
I just wanted to say this, as you're saying all of those things about, having a laugh and stuff. Let's tell a good story. The good story is that I got the opportunity to interview one of the girls who is now in college, that went through the program, then ended up being a mentor for the program. And she talks about, and we'll be able to see this hopefully on our GoFund page or one of our pages soon. But it's amazing when you listen, and the difficulties she had, and the ways that she felt about herself, and then to listen to her when she's a freshman in college and be able, which is what I talked about at the beginning, which is being able to deal with all these things, and just walking away from her first year of college and going, this wouldn't have been what happened if I wouldn't have had the Fusion Project. That's what we're focusing on. We're focusing on the results, and Michelle is seeing it, and we need to keep on helping her to be able to continue to see it with these girls, with this group, and so many more. Yes, she got more money this year than she did last year, but reality is it's still not enough. That's our job, to be able to, as a team, get her more money so that she can continue to affect these young girls.
And I want to point something out that was very impressive. And I know that anybody that's you guys are getting ready to pull out that money and help. She actually built this program going, and she did a lot of solid studying. Like Lauren is into facts and figures, and I appreciate that so much about you. Michelle did that in going to the college professors and enlisting some of the very best of the best, right?
Right.
And so this is not just a touchy-feely, I think this will work kind of thing. There is science behind it. There's structure behind it. This is an actual verified program that is making a difference, correct?
Correct.
True
it is.
story.
It really is. Yeah.
And that's important for you guys to know, because I mean, if you're going to align yourself and really fund this, because let's be honest, guys, $100,000, that's the goal. We have a goal, and we've got to do it by the end of second quarter.
Are you sure that's not a typo?
Yeah, exactly. Is that? Yeah, exactly. We put maybe one too many zeros.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going for
No.
No. We're only kidding.
Hey, we can do it, right? I mean, all we need is a big sponsor, and you know what? There's no. Hey, I'm not gonna say maybe it's divine. Maybe there's someone sitting there right now that's a CEO and president of a company saying, you know what, I need a cause, because golly, you guys, if you want the millennials to be supporting you, if you don't have a cause and you're a business owner, you need to revisit that, because you'll do so much better. The bottom line will prove it. And talk to others that are doing it. Don't take my word for it.
Yeah.
They'll tell you. So if there is one out there that says, you know what, I was thinking about this, and this is the one that's hitting me in my gut, you know what, you may be out there. We need to make that happen. So, nothing is impossible completely. You put it out there, nothing is impossible. And for $1 million, we could probably get it at least to, the Mississippi or something, And,
oh my goodness, nationwide, like that.
Yep.
And so nothing is impossible. It's energy. Money is energy, guys. So let's just be real about this. Our kids are more than energy. Our children are flesh and blood, and they need our help, and they're struggling, and we have generations that are proving that there's issues. This is generational, and let's stop some of the behavior. A program that is actually verifiably can make the difference. And let's see. Yes, Aaron, begin with the end in mind. Absolutely. How could we have the most fun and only make a difference? International movement. I love it. See, I love my team.
Right.
I love you, Aaron. You are awesome. Let's just do this. So we're going to be launching a GoFundMe site, right?
Yep,
we are.
And it's going to be fun, because we are starting. We're actually in a production company almost. Wink, wink.
That's a real wink, wink.
Yeah. But you know what? You guys, when you see these, know that they're heartfelt. And the production value is not as important as the content. And we have at least 4. Who wants to join us? We already had one that spent some time with us today. If anybody out there of my media people, we got a lot of you guys out there, and you guys want to spend some time with us, let us know. We'd love to have you volunteer to make these, because these are going to be videos that will be left with the Fusion Project, and we want them to be significant. And right now, we're doing it. So
we got the raw.
Yeah,
we do. We got the raw motion of it, and so that's where it's just just really desiring for people to know what's going on and bring some light to the program, and so that it can be it can expand. That's the end in mind, to expand.
I love that. End in
Yeah.
mind. Absolutely. And so as we get ready to close and button this all up, we are going to be producing, there's so many different aspects that she touches on, and I mean it's all clinical and it's all documented, and she's got a full program, but she picked 4 top ones, and you mentioned them in the beginning, Lauren. Why don't we kind of like mention them again, and then what we will be doing is we're going to be picking one, and then we're going to be going through all 4 and producing some type of a video that will be going out there. And guys, latch onto one of them and donate, because you know, if this one doesn't resonate with you, another one will. And you guys are going, I really want you to watch them with your heart, not your mind, with your heart. Okay, so what are the 4 that we're going to be doing?
Yeah, there's many topics, and so really what the focus is on is the bullying, is on anxiety, is on the abuse that occurs during relationships, and the sex trafficking. And I just want to share this with sex trafficking. It's like, oh, okay, the other ones I can kind of get, but like the sex trafficking, it is literally in every single zip code. And so if you think that that one doesn't actually impact your community, we're here to share that you're wrong. And so it's all of them are relatable. We just don't know what's going on. And so some of this age group, they don't want to talk, right? That sometimes they just really want to be internalize things. And so we just have to plant the seed in their world that they do have the control, they do have the power. And so that maybe in a year we'll actually know what's going on. Like, you know, it was just like you said, like the grace of like meeting someone or hearing a message, it's going to change the trajectory of their life.
Yeah.
And the sex trafficking, you guys, think of it this way, because I am a little older and I thought, you know, yeah, you know, the internet, that's how they lured them. They have gotten, because there's been, you know, thank goodness we've had a lot of very concentrated detectives and this and that, and they've been figuring that all out. I don't know if that's completely done, but these guys are predators like predator animals. They rework things, they regroup things. It's just like cells of cancer. If that doesn't work, they're going to find another way to morph and do. Now they're using peers, they're using kids. Let's make it real. Let's say Sally Sue goes to school and Bobby Bill, he is in the same class, and he's the one that is tasked to find someone to then take Sally Sue away to never be seen again, possibly. Correct?
That, and it's sometimes they threaten the girl so bad to never say anything that there was a story she shared with me that she was dropped off at home every day or every weekend or however the frequency was. So it's not just the taken away.
Oh, wow, right.
It's intense, and so it's empowering them at that age so that they can say something.
You know what? With you sharing that right now, I don't know about you guys, but my heart just sank that much more, realizing they seriously are a step maybe ahead of us. And so the only way that we can combat that is through this program, because it's the only one of its kind. And we have got to empower our girls. And does this program, is there ever any thought that it will help to empower our boys too?
Right now it's focused on the girls. Mm-hmm. Of course, gentlemen need assistance and support, and so it's just not in this one. And so maybe a branch will expand.
That's exactly with
the guys having that different perspective. Definitely, I can see that.
Okay, so again, let's be real, guys. We got a lot of impactors out there. We got a lot of service heroes out there. I have one girl, 3 boys. I know what it's like to start a nonprofit, and you've got to start very focused, even if you have other projects or programs that you will be bringing when you have funding.
Mm-hmm.
She can barely make it through the next few months with what she's doing now. Of course, I'm sure she wants to have one of those with blue too. So what we need partners that are, we want the donations of all sizes. Every single penny is going to count. Every single penny will count. Know that. But let's really dig, guys, because this program needs to be in all schools for both girls and boys.
Yep.
It just does, because we can't let this continue.
It takes a village.
Exactly. So I am proud to be a part of this team. I'm proud that our team chose the Fusion Project. Thank you, Alicia, for bringing it forward.
Yeah. Nomination.
Yes. And any parting words as we finish up, and then we'll be able to then have the link attached when we're done. Put it in the comments. Correct? Are we at that point?
Oh yeah, the link is live.
Okay, we got a live link. Okay, guys, get ready. Before you go eat, we're gonna put that down, and then you guys go. Okay, ready, set, go. Okay, so parting words.
Lauren?
Oh man, in one word?
No words.
Oh, yeah.
You get a few words. I'm not counting.
You know, the line of work that I do and why I adore Michelle so much is there's so much unspoken. And so we all had our journeys, and I'm just one example of the impossible is truly, truly possible. And just, you know, if we reflect onto our younger selves and where we have come from, we've gone through some stuff. It might look different, but we have that commonality of we are still here, and we can make an impact, not just for ourselves and our immediate family, but we can make an impact for generations. And so like that legacy is why I get up every day and do what I do and hear the heartbreaking stories and empower people to do something different to what actually will work for them. So I'm grateful to be on a team with you ladies, and I'm grateful to have the Fusion Project as our mission today.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Yeah.
Alicia?
I guess I would say that the main thing is that I'm like, a lot of ways I agree with Lauren in the situation of we've had our journeys, but our journeys aren't over. And this has become part of our journey. To be able to give Michelle a way to be able to meet more girls and help more girls is just an important part. When you lead from your heart, it makes a difference. We are here to serve others, but we need help. And to be able to serve others to the capacity of the next generation, we have to be able to have funds. But we also have to keep remembering that we're doing this from our heart, and no matter how little we have of ourselves, we want everybody else to be able to be a part of this project, because it's not just our team's projects, it's the world's project to help these girls.
Yeah, right. And I appreciate that. I wanna just, a story came to my mind, because when, you know, if you're sitting there thinking, man, I'm in the middle of it right now, and like some people that I know, I'm a single mom, and what do I have? I don't have much. In fact, I don't have even enough. And there are those moments in time that are so difficult, because you know, there's those that, yes, they have companies, but there's those that you're sitting there and saying, yeah, that's me. Well, you know, we've been there. We know that. Many of us, you know, that up and down piece, that roller coaster we call a wonderful life. And if you are sitting there saying, man, I get it, but I can't, don't think that way. You know, friends, you can volunteer. You can help in some way, whatever that way is. I go to that story of that there was once a woman that had very, very little, but what she did have left, she gave. And someone's looking at her and they're giving, but they have a lot. And it's relative, you know? And so if you have a lot, you know, think about that person that's sitting on the couch right now that's saying, man, I'm looking at my kids right now and I'm worried and I want that in my backyard. How is that going to happen? And if you are sitting there and you can make that happen, can you bless that person? Can you take care of that family? And so many more out there, because in the end, sometimes I have talked to a lot of people that have been very successful and they're not happy. And you talk to them and you ask them why. They will say, what was my life all about? What legacy did I leave? I had awesome cars. I had a beautiful home. I had the trophy wife or husband, you know, all of that. But what legacy at the end of your life? If you can think about the legacy you could be building right now of changing something through generations of time, it's huge. This is an opportunity. An opportunity that really, it's the only program like this. Yeah, I like the only programs, you know.
Well, and it's so weird that we talk about this, because it's like on my Chatter Girl page today, the posting I have is kindness, pay it forward. And I'm actually showing a video from No One Cares videos of an older person helping a younger kid with a person who has very little, but is helping that child. That's what we're about. We care. Let's keep on caring.
I love it. I love it.
And there's lots of ways to participate, you know, so it's like maybe you're scrambling a little bit with funds, and it's like, would you be willing to share? And you just don't know who's in your network that has a maybe easier time being able to do that. So participation, yes, of course, we're looking for funds so that we can expand this to more than just the location she's in right now. And it's also the participation and support and sharing and loving on us. And like you had mentioned, like who knows grants, who knows this, everyone can contribute in a way. And so I guess don't minimize your gifts and your skills, and let us know and we can figure that out together.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to also say, I've got a lot of friends in the Chicagoland area. I love that. Chicagoland area. You know, you guys can be helping in the backyard. And then those that are outside of the Chicagoland area, you guys can be also helping. It doesn't have to be a geography thing. And that's what I love about this kind of a platform. So don't discount if you're feeling called in some way to help this. We really want you to do that, because you know what? We know that you guys are going to be so excited about what it is that we're producing to then get these messages out there. And I see a thumbs up from someone that I think you both would like me to say thank you to, and that's Dr. J. Johnson, for your time this morning.
Thank you.
You know, thank you for your help, and others that want to, you know, dive in with us. This is a worthy project. It truly is.
Tamara, I'm coming to the San Diego area in May, so I'd love to do anything for you there, or any of the people interested who want to support the Fusion Project while I'm there. So I'd love to be able to help out when I go there too, and hook up with the San Diego people.
Oh yeah, we got a lot of them. I mean, that's my stomping ground. That's where I grew up.
So yeah.
Yes. Right. Okay. So, you know, thank you, Jeremiah. And Jeremiah Knight. Okay, you guys, I need to just hats off to Jeremiah. And if you haven't gone to get his book on Amazon yet, Jeremiah, can you let me know? You're still in the whole bestseller time, right? We have up until I think tomorrow. I've gotten my copy. You guys should 99 cents. You guys, it's about kids, and find out more about it. But he's got it's about a Christian base, but it's not overly, and it's fun, and it's, think of the Hobbit comes to, you know, travel plus and all this and more, with a really cool moral to the story. Awesome. So check him out. You guys go support him. Let's make Jeremiah. He believes in all of our dreams. He's the most supportive man out there in all of our networks. And you are so very welcome, my dear. So very welcome. Thank you. We believe in your dreams like you believe in ours. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. I appreciate you both. I appreciate our team. And we've done our deal. Okay. Go support us. All right. Support the Fusion Project. Woo, woo, Team Todd. Woo, woo. Bye, guys. Tomorrow. Oh, the Diaries of a Holy Night, the in-between. There we go. I'm going to put that up here real quick. There we go. And Amy's saying, go, Jeremiah. Okay. All right. See you guys later. Bye.